Memento Mori, the death wisdom Marcus Aurelius used to rule an empire. In 165 CE, a plague swept through the Roman Empire that would eventually kill an estimated 5 to 10 million people, roughly 7 to 10% of the entire empire. At its worst, up to 2,000 people died every single day across the empire. It came for soldiers, senators, and historians believe possibly even the emperors themselves, with Lucius Verus dying in 169 and Marcus Aurelius in 180. There was no cure, no explanation, and no way to stop it. He governed through it anyway, for nearly 15 years, writing to himself the entire time about the one thing the plague couldn't touch: his own judgment about what was happening to him. 17 centuries later, Winston Churchill governed through his own version of an unstoppable force. During the height of the Blitz, London endured 57 consecutive nights of bombing, an onslaught that would eventually kill more than 23,000 people in the city alone. Different plague, same discipline. Lesson 1: pain is real. Your interpretation of it is optional. Marcus Aurelius never denied the plague was terrible. He simply refused to add a second layer of suffering, resentment, despair, on top of the first. The event was outside his control. His relationship to the event was not. Here's the part that makes it almost unbelievable. The disease itself was so severe that victims suffered for 2 weeks with fever, vomiting, coughing, and swollen throats, and some developed red and black skin eruptions, along with foul breath and black diarrhea. This wasn't an abstract philosophical exercise for Marcus. He was watching a documented, physician-recorded horror unfold in his own household and city in real time, with zero medical recourse, and still writing that the terror belonged to the event, not to him. All that's interesting. Lesson 2. The mind cannot be broken from the outside. He wrote that nothing external could actually touch his ruling faculty unless he let it. That the mind, properly guarded, was untouchable by anything that merely happened to the body or the circumstances around it. Churchill's version of this was almost comically literal. Even as bombs fell on London, he kept an inflexible afternoon nap routine, retiring after lunch, undressing, and sleeping for 1 to 2 hours before returning to work. His grandson later said Churchill would drink through lunch, change into pajamas, sleep for roughly 2.5 hours, then get up and work into the early hours of the morning. Going to sleep while bombs fell wasn't recklessness. It was a signal to himself and everyone around him that the chaos outside did not get to dictate the order inside. Full focus. Lesson 3. Discipline isn't a mood, it's a schedule. This is the lesson people miss most. Neither man relied on willpower in the moment. They relied on routine built in advance, so there was nothing left to decide when things got bad. Marcus wrote his private journal, what we now call meditations, almost as a daily maintenance ritual, not a one-time epiphany. Churchill's day had a near-fixed architecture, waking around 7:30 a.m., staying in bed for hours, reading newspapers and war reports, dictating memos to secretaries, then the afternoon nap, then work resuming late into the night. Even Britain's civilians figured this out on instinct. During the Blitz, maintaining a normal daily routine became a widely recognized hedge against losing morale. And by November 1940, a Gallup poll found 80% of Britons still confident their side would win. Structure repeated daily is what discipline actually looks like from the inside. Lesson 4. Show up where people can see you. Neither man led from the shadows. Marcus stayed in Rome and reportedly worked to fund relief efforts as the empire's institutions strained under the death toll. Churchill made a point of it too. He deliberately stayed visible, constantly traveling the country to visit ammunition factories, shipyards, and troops throughout the bombing campaign. That visibility was itself a form of psychological engineering. A calm leader, physically present in the wreckage, tells everyone watching that the wreckage is survivable. It's the same principle at a civic scale that Marcus applied at a personal one. The outer chaos doesn't get to define the meaning of what's happening. The steady person standing inside it does. 5. What can't be broken can't be taken. This is the part that matters most. If your peace depends on nothing bad ever happening, you will lose it eventually, and because something bad always eventually happens. But if your peace depends only on how you choose to meet what happens, nothing external can take it from you. Not a plague, not a war, not a bad year. Marcus Aurelius buried people he loved during a plague that historians now believe killed more Romans than any war the empire had fought. Churchill watched his city burn for 57 nights running and lost tens of thousands of his own people. Neither man's mastery meant nothing bad touched them. It meant nothing bad could reach the part of them that actually mattered. That's not immunity from hardship. It's something sturdier than immunity, a mind trained not to break whatever comes. So how do you actually train it? Not with a mantra you repeat once and forget. With daily mechanisms, the same way Marcus Aurelius and Churchill used them. Premeditatio malorum, rehearse the bad day before it arrives. The Stoics practiced imagining loss, failure, and disaster in advance, not to become pessimists, but to strip catastrophe of its shock value. Marcus Aurelius opened his mornings reminding himself he'd meet difficult people that day, so when it happened, it wasn't a surprise, it was a prediction confirmed. Try this each morning. Spend 2 minutes picturing the worst plausible setback of your day, the email that ruins your mood, the delay, the criticism. You're not summoning bad luck, you're removing its power to ambush you. The dichotomy of control. Sort everything into 2 piles. Every stressor you'll ever face fits into one of 2 categories: things you control and things you don't. Marcus Aurelius governed a 15-year plague he couldn't cure, but he could still control how he responded to it. Where he directed relief efforts, how he carried himself, what he wrote to himself at night. When something rattles you today, physically ask, is this mine to control? If not, your job is acceptance, not resistance. If it is, your job is action, not worry. Most anxiety lives in the gap between the two, worrying about things you can't touch instead of acting on things you can. The evening audit, judge yourself before anyone else does. Marcus Aurelius wrote meditations largely as a private nightly reckoning, not to perform wisdom for others, but to correct himself in real time. Before bed, ask 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I let my judgment slip? What will I do differently tomorrow? This is how a mind gets trained, the same way a muscle gets trained, through repetition, not through a single dramatic insight. Voluntary discomfort. Practice hardship on your own terms. Seneca advised setting aside days to eat plain food, wear rough clothes, and live briefly like you had nothing, so that if hardship ever arrived uninvited, you'd already know you could survive it. You don't need a plague or a blitz to build this. Cold showers, fasting windows, a hard workout, a day without your phone, small chosen discomforts build the same resilience muscle real crises demand later. Memento Mori, let mortality sharpen, not frighten. Marcus Aurelius kept death close in his mind constantly, not morbidly, but as a clarifying tool. If your days are numbered, petty grudges and manufactured anxieties shrink fast. Churchill operated with a similar clarity under nightly bombing. He knew any night could be his last, and instead of paralysis, it produced focus. Naps, meetings, memos, dinner, all on schedule, bombs or no bombs. Amor Fati, stop fighting what already happened. Nietzsche borrowed this from the Stoics. Love your fate, don't just tolerate it. The plague happened, the bombs fell. Neither man wasted energy wishing reality were different. They spent all of it on the only thing available to them, their response. Next time something unchangeable goes wrong, try replacing "Why is this happening to me?" with "Given that this happened, what's the best next move?" The inner citadel, guard the one thing that's actually yours. Your judgment, your reasoned choice, your character. This is the fortress nothing external can breach unless you open the gate yourself. Everything else, health, reputation, other people's opinions, is outside the walls. The daily discipline isn't pretending the outside world doesn't matter. It's remembering every single day which room you actually live in. None of this is theoretical. Marcus Aurelius wrote it while burying people he loved. Churchill lived it while his city burned. The techniques aren't inspirational quotes, they're maintenance routines done daily, the same way you'd train a body. Skip a day and you don't collapse. Skip years of days and you will. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Have a blessed day or a good night.